did it.
You did the thing.
Yeah, I did the thing.
This is a story about how you did the thing.
It is.
Check and make sure that the sound's not skipping.
Well, it's not skipping to me after I restarted the laptop, so that may have been the issue last night. It wasn't happening in person, but it just could have been the broadcast.
I had 4 different versions of your voice doing it once.
4?
Yes, I had a few different windows open to make sure.
Ah. I know it's picking you up. It's picking the game up. Should be picking me up.
Yes, it seems to be working fine.
Okay. Let's get this party started. The end is never the end is never the end. Did you know that?
Where?
This is the story of a man.
Welcome back. Quit the game and then start it again.
Let's go ahead and close that door, shall we?
Yeah, it's scary out there.
But Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure. What if he had to make a decision? What if a crucial outcome fell under his responsibility? He had never been trained for that. No. This couldn't go any way except badly. The thing to do now, Stanley thought to himself, is to wait. Nothing will hurt me. Nothing will break me.
I can't hide under the desk.
In here I can be
hide in the
happy
corner.
forever. I will be happy. Stanley waited. Hours passed, then days. Had years gone by? He no longer had the ability to tell. But the one thing he knew for sure, beyond any doubt, was that if he waited long enough, the answers would come. Eventually, someday, they would arrive.
Maybe.
Soon, very soon now, this will end. He will be spoken to. He
Yes.
will be told what
Come
to
back,
do.
people.
Now it's just a little bit closer. Now it's even closer. Here it comes.
Oh no.
Alright. Shall I give you another hint?
Uh-huh.
Can you find desk 434?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Nope, it's back. In the corner.
Oh.
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Try and get on that chair.
Yeah, I can't.
You can. It's a little
Okay.
tricky. There you go. Can you go out the window? Okay.
At first, Stanley assumed he'd broken the map, until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along. He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes. So, now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be?
It's very bright.
Why don't we take a minute just to drink it all in?
Very bright.
Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet?
Say no.
Ah, then in that case we'll continue. But now, here comes the real question. What do you think would have happened if you had told me that you wanted this to stop?
Absolutely nothing.
Do you think it would have been particularly different?
No.
Would I have taken the same idea but rephrased it superficially to fit that answer?
Yes.
Perhaps you never would even have thought of it if I hadn't brought up the issue in the first place. Oh, now think about it. Will it be worth it for you to restart and then come back here just to do the other option? Clearly, this whole gag takes some time. What if the other option is even longer? How long will you spend in total just to have heard all the narration? Oh, and this is rich. Perhaps you've just played the other option, and now you've come to see what happens in this one. So, what do you think? Which choice was the better one? Imagine if you had selected continue on your first playthrough, how tantalizing it would be not knowing what happens when you pick the other option. Indeed, you are one of the lucky ones.
Am I?
Though if the other option is really miserable to listen to, then perhaps you're not. In fact, I'm just going to say that no one who's listening to this is lucky.
Oh.
Oh,
Well now, I've built up the other options so much that I'm going to stop talking and leave you to your decision whether to come back here, continue with the game, or just sit in this spot forever and ever. Cheers.
you'll need to restart.
And then we go back out.
Yeah, of course.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Well, it wants to go up right here. There we go.
There you go.
We're back here again, narrator. Hello.
At first, Stanley assumed he'd broken the map, until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along. He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes. So, now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be? Why don't we take a minute just to drink it all in?
Drink,
Okay,
drink.
I'm
I
over
had
it
a
now.
drink.
What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet?
No again or yes?
Yes.
Well, I don't know how to say this politely, but you could literally just hit escape and restart the game any old time you want, like right now. You could have done it just there.
I could have.
Now would also be an appropriate time
Maybe.
to quit. Any of these points and so many, many more, all of them are appropriate. I'm enjoying what seems to be an internal conflict going on where you are literally unable to act on your own desires to restart the game.
I
So,
could.
just to push the envelope, I'm going to try and make this as miserable as possible and see how long you can maintain. There once was a man named Stanley, who people considered so manly.
Yay!
But the truth must be told, he was not very old and was quite particularly gangly.
I'll grow out of it.
That's a
What
limerick,
Stanley
not a
liked most
song.
was buttons. He pushed them like some kind of glutton.
Num num
Did it
button.
all day in a meaningful way, but his brain had long ceased to function.
Aw.
Which is why he is in this parable and lives an existence quite terrible.
Hmm.
And if you are not strong and keep playing along, you too will become quite unbearable. You too will become quite unbearable.
Thank you for the serenade.
You just repeat that, wasn't it?
Maybe.
This is great content.
It is. White screen, good music.
I think it's safe to restart.
Okay.
Now, let's see what he says.
Do it, do
We'll
it.
humor him.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Hi, this is where the content used to be.
We finished all that, unfortunately.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Okay. Oh, that's a nice office.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Let's go read that, the first whiteboard.
Oh,
We
with
never
the
actually
schedule?
read that one, I don't think.
We have.
Yeah, the schedule. I don't
Do
remember
not
reading
alter
that.
without
I don't-
consulting the whiteboard manager.
I don't remember seeing this. Weekly target, address, admin?
Boss's inspection. Ooh, ideas and development. Uh-oh, what did 432 do? There's a meeting on Friday at noon about it. Don't tell 432 about the meeting, though. Am I 432?
Pre-review of weekly review.
Mm.
What do you think 8-bird is?
I don't know. Oh, there's an office party at 4 on Friday.
We get very tiny slices of pizza on a napkin.
Yes.
8-bird.
8-bird.
I've googled it and I found nothing.
Nothing here says anything about 8-bird.
Nope.
The future was yesterday and tomorrow is now.
Chris is still in the broom closet.
Oh, is he?
Your
Oh.
screen has gone offline.
No, it hasn't. It's still there. Refresh. Twitch has been weird. I have to refresh it when I start my... Chris, hello? Well, you can come out, Chris, wherever you're hiding.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't, yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Oh, safety wire. Covering a big hole. Oh.
There's no Stanley in there now.
No. We got so many of them though, so it's okay. You're only supposed to get 6 and we got 18.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar.
A little bit.
It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Oh no.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
We'll have to come back down here and escape.
Naturally. Of course we will. We'll also have to get back down here with the bucket.
Bucket!
We've already done this bucket, I think.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did
Somebody
this
got
place
lazy at the
hold?
top.
Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
I want to go over to that platform.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images
there's a
on a
nice ladder
screen,
over there,
and Stanley,
at the top of the
one
stairs.
them,
That doesn't seem
eternally
safe.
monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
People! Give me people!
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be
Fired.
true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time?
Only 2
Was this the
people
only
fired?
reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No. He refused to believe it. He
Where are we
couldn't
going,
accept
Mr.
it. His
Narrator?
own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Off. I clicked the switch. If you're talking, I can't hear you.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him.
A tree!
For it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel.
I did off.
Whatever life he lives, it will be his.
Oh, yes.
And that was all he needed to know.
So pretty.
It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Yay!
Congratulations on your good ending.
I beated the game.
Now we do it again.
And we...
Choose on.
Okay.
Stanley had never seen the office this brightly lit. Was it a sign of something? He hoped it was.
I'll be back for you.
He hoped very much that it
Already done
was.
that bucket ending.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Speedrun.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's
Stanley was in a
office.
particular hurry.
Why not? I want to...
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley could, yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
We'll do the off, and then next time we'll go down and take the other passage.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
He did.
He did, very much.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
There is a bot in chat.
No,
I agree and
he
destroy
refused
this
to
world.
believe it. He couldn't accept it.
Oh.
His own life in someone else's
Please don't
control?
destroy this world.
Never. It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions.
Gotta go across the
Happy,
bridge.
or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life.
What if?
For he... Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept
Maybe.
you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself? Is that what you wanted?
Of course.
Control?
Yes!
Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say, 2 minutes. Now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what
there's
precious
stairs going
moments
up.
each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers
There's
are?
a button up here.
A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased
Should I
them.
press the button?
I turned off the machine.
Well,
I
it's
set you
number
free.
4.
Of course,
Number
that was
1.
merely
Oh,
in this
yeah.
instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground,
Bye.
swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing.
There's
Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the
One,
control wrested away from you,
2.
it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go
Did you
around
see a
will
3?
be even better.
I have not.
My goodness,
3.
only 34
was
seconds
upstairs.
left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock. Why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't
4.
grow on trees.
I feel like this might not do
Oh dear
anything.
me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off?
No, I'm just pressing
look
buttons
at
in
you,
order. I like pressing
running
buttons.
from button to button, screen to screen,
There's only
clicking
5.
on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no,
Isn't this
these
pretty
colored ones,
down
or
here?
maybe this big
It's
red
brighter.
button. or this door. Everything, anything,
three
something
attempts
here will
remaining.
save me. Why do you think that, Stanley?
Where's
That
the
this
big red
video
button?
game can be beaten?
Right there by the
One
computer.
solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you.
3.
That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made
I hit
humble.
3.
This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't.
Oh no.
Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle.
Oh no.
30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling
Everything is
desperately to your
shaky.
frail life?
Bye-bye.
Or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count. Or don't. It's all the same to me. All a part of
Is
the
there a
joke.
purple button?
And believe me, I will be
Oh.
laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say happily ever after.
Bye bye.
There was no way to stop it.
I didn't think there was. But there was an open door, so what if I do that and then go out the open door? It closed as I walked by, though.
The
Stanley knew the
No,
office
no.
layout like the back of his hand. It was only a matter of time before he found the others, wherever they were. Just a
Maybe
matter of
exit this
time.
The escape?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
You're behind, narrator.
Yet there was not
Little
a single
eight-bird.
person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief,
We should watch
Stanley
this,
decided to go up
slideshow
to
at
his
some point.
boss's office, hoping he might find it. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. The moment he entered his manager's office, Stanley froze in his tracks. Not a living soul anywhere. Could he really be all alone? Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music.
Okay.
chill.
Yeah. Can you start the fire, please, at least? Let me relax by the fire?
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
I love when games punish you for being clever.
Bark.
That was pretty.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
But this
Meow.
says escape.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
You say things a lot, narrator, but they don't always come true. I don't believe you.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and
Oh,
get
we can
back
take
on
up pole
track.
dancing.
I mean,
At
I
this
could be
point,
smashing
Stanley
the
was
wall.
making
Yeah,
a conscious,
a little
concerted
small.
effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Oh, that's red. That's ominous.
Down you go.
Okay. Whee! Ah! Oh. Okay, we're
As the
moving.
machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, it reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a
I
blind
think
man.
we're gonna get squished.
So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Please don't squish me. Oh.
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as
Oh.
Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Oh.
That's exactly what happened.
Ah!
We're dead now.
Yeah.
Definitely dead.
So
And
dead.
yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever.
Yep.
What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
I don't know.
Welcome to the museum.
Oh.
When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead
That will
from
be
the
fun.
moment he
Give it a
hit
chance.
start?
Yeah. The pacing of this opening section was important to get right. This corridor has been moved and altered to make sure the player reaches the 2 doors in a good time. Filing cabinets. The 2 doors. The set of the 2 open doors was the very first concrete piece of the Stanley Parable's design. Once this room was created, the rest of the game emerged as an extension of it, an exploration of the contradiction this room posed.
Mhm.
Office layout. The blueprint shows the office from the beginning of the game. The path from Stanley's office to the 2 doors was the first part of the game that was built. Sections have been added and altered throughout development, though the core layout remains almost identical to the first iteration.
Indeed.
Mhm. Nature paintings.
Nature paintings.
It's a
Sure is
leaf.
some stock art.
It is not Bob Ross, though.
No, it's stock art.
The office. We don't see these doors.
No.
The buttons! Mhm. A selection of sounds used throughout the game when buttons are pressed. Each sound is a mix of a keyboard stroke and a synthesized tone. But we don't hear any of them. Just a click.
Good. Let me blast the thing.
Office computers. Employee database. Employee database loaded. Please enter your command. Print employee status printing. All the credits here. Maintenance room. An early version
We
of the
haven't gone through
maintenance
your-
room.
That's what we'll do next, probably. Well, no, not next. Soon.
The office. Oh. Fun!
Button!
Money!
We haven't gotten the money ending yet.
We have not.
I would like to get the money ending.
The lounge. An early version of the lounge. It has been improved.
The break room.
Narrator emails. After the second trailer we sent out, we asked people to email the narrator for questions. While we had initially planned to use these for other promotional materials, we never found the perfect use for them. Here are a selection of the emails.
Oh.
From James, love the game. Greetings, omnipotent voice. I wanted to tell you I like the Stanley Parable as much. Oh, they go too fast.
Mm-hmm.
Wang Yang.
Don't go up there yet. Yeah, look around.
The cargo lift. There's something clicking.
We'll look into that.
The second version is functionally the same as what's in the final game, but we wanted it to look more like a place where cargo is actually stored. The cargo lift. The cargo lift was always intended to offer the choice of staying on or jumping to a different path. However, after this early version, we decided we also wanted the option of the player falling to their death. Oh my, we did that. Oh.
Ah,
The apartment timer. In the previous version, the choice of leading to the apartment ending, a timer would give you 15 seconds to pick up the phone. Not picking up the phone would lead to a different ending.
this is all cut content.
Oh, there's buttons.
Batteries.
Zending model. The Zending went through many iterations. This room represents the fourth version of the ending, and we thought it was complete, but decided to abandon and change it again shortly before launch. The game is now paused. We have not. Escape menu. For a long time, we had the ending that only ended when the player restarted from the escape menu. Unfortunately, very few players realized this was what they were supposed to do, which was frustrating for everyone. Zending. The screenshot depicts an early version of the ending known as the Zending, which was eventually cut and merged with another part of the game. That looks like Aperture Science.
They used a lot of assets from Portal, yeah.
Zending levers. These levers were originally part of the Zending. The player would pull a lever, and the narrator would describe what color they had pulled.
Purple, orange, green.
Countdown room. An early version of the countdown room.
The bomb.
Monitor room elevator. For a time, the elevator in the monitor room could go up or down with freedom above and count down below. We abandoned this when players found it too difficult to remember what was up and what was down, and placed the two endings together instead. Freedom ending. This is the freedom ending as it existed in beta. Oh, it's much prettier now. Countdown desk. One of the desks from the early version of the countdown ending. These all come on. Freedom ending. This was the very first incarnation of the freedom ending in the game's alpha. Very blocky.
Probably inspired by the ending of Portal 2, I'd imagine.
Office clock. Boss's office. Screens from the development of the boss's office. Huh. It went through some changes.
Kept the two main windows.
Yep. The lounge. Underground, an early version of the underground portion of the game. There was people talking in here.
Yes.
Narration outtakes. Kevin Brighting, the voice of the narrator,
When
recorded.
Stanley came to the lift, he travelled upward to the
Excuse
power
me.
source at the top of the facility to end
For
this
the entire
injustice
game,
forever.
roughly 3 separate times over
Stanley
the
walked
2
over the
years of
bridge.
development. These are clips from the early takes that were not used in the final game. It's very rude interrupting.
That's what he does.
Did we look at everything? I think we did.
There was stairs, I don't know if we took those.
Oh.
No?
Early in development, we designed an ending where Stanley would end up on a battlefield fighting aliens. The action game would become sentient and would wage war against the narrator. We realized shortly after starting to build it that it was far too jokey and on the nose for the tone of the game. Plus, some people interpret it as making fun of people who like shooters, which was not our intention.
I see. Bicycle.
Alien base. Awesome.
That's
The
the
emails.
Up the stairs. I don't think we went this way.
We did. I think we
No,
went.
go back in there.
Yeah, we didn't go that way either. Oh, mock-ups.
Yeah, various iterations of your office.
Stanley's office. From left to right, the evolution of Stanley's office over time. The first was created in November 2011, the second March 2012, and the third February 2013. So this was the first. Yeah, that's a bad design. And then the second. Better. And then the third.
Yeah, he has a painting. And clutter.
Still a random office lamp on the filing cabinets. But in the first one, he didn't have one at all. Game design mockup. This is the level that William, the level designer, sent Davey, the writer, as a kind of audition piece. The strength of this level got William hired to design the full game. Though much of the environment has changed, the basic layout from this mockup is still in the game. Yeah.
Popped up looking. That was the elevator down. Alright, well.
Yep. So now we go down
There's
here.
a green sign that says exit, yes.
Yep.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free.
It turned it off.
Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen.
Especially when there's no lights. Oh, now there's lights.
But listen to me. You can still save those two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way
Should
to
I?
beat this game.
Do I gotta do that?
As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice.
Yeah, I would definitely quit.
Whatever.
I gotta quit the menu. It didn't get squished.
This
Okay. You want to do like a really weird one? Go back up to the manager's office, but stop
all
before
of
you
his
go
co-workers were
in. So where the
gone.
secretary's
What
desk
could
is.
it mean?
Okay.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person
Nope.
here either.
Not here.
Feeling a wave of disbelief,
We'll let Chris
Stanley
out.
decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Alright. Briefly go into the boss's office and then back out. All the way in and then back out.
Okay, I think we all know the drill by now. Blah, blah, blah. Dark secrets, the keypad. Stanley pushes some buttons. Oh, hey, look, it's a new passageway. Quelle surprise.
Well, I didn't want that to happen. We might need to restart.
Well, he went through it really quick.
He did, he does that.
So just
So,
restart?
go ahead and restart. Yeah. Says,
All of his co-workers were
This is what?
gone.
enter the
What could
boss's
it
office
mean?
and then back
Stanley
out.
decided to go to the
hallway.
meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
So I just went too far in, maybe?
Just don't go past where the door is open to.
The hell?
Where you going? What?
What did I do wrong?
What are you talking about?
I don't remember going through the blue room.
That is new, isn't it?
Yeah.
Keep going. Oh.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
This game was a funny way of
Yet
fucking
there
with
was
somebody.
not a single
Oh
person
yeah, I
there
was like,
either.
I didn't go through the
Feeling
blue
a
room
wave
last
of
time.
disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Okay. Do not go past the width of the door.
It's already open.
I know. In and then turn around and back out. And back into the hallway. There we go. Did it do it? The door's supposed to close.
Oh, I can't close it. Maybe because that already opened?
To do this, we want you to enter the boss's office and then back out the hallway. The door will shut. They should be in the hallway outside the boss's office. From here, go all the way back to your office. But the door needs to be closed.
Here's the door, just go.
Alright. Let's see
Okay.
what he does. I actually don't know of any more endings this way.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television
yes.
screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Yes, we do. We do.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed.
We'll finish this and go
Each
back to the
bore the
boss's
number
office?
of an employee in the building,
I'm reading.
Stanley's
Hang on.
co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never!
Never.
It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible?
No.
Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the
Yes.
world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very
I think you need to
place.
restart.
And as the cold
I wanna
reality of
turn
his
this on and see
past
if I can go through
began
that
to
open
sink
door
in,
over there.
Stanley decided
Okay.
that this machinery would never again
I mean, it's not
exert
open right
its
now, but it
terrible
was
power
before.
over another human life. For he... Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did
A little
you?
bit.
After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example,
But am
and I
I?
believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are said to explode, eliminating the entire
We get the blue
complex.
room again.
How long until
Would be
detonation
sufficient.
then? Let's say
Well, this is
2 minutes. Ah,
This
now
one
this
is
is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your
See, this
time
one
to
was
shine.
open,
You are
and
the
it
star.
closed as I
It's
walked
your
by.
story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much
Start
better than
pressing
what I
buttons.
had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to
Three.
start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are?
no.
A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good
probably
mood.
ate
You're
them.
gonna die anyway. I'll
Boy.
tell you exactly what happened to them.
They told you last
I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office
Nope,
sink
didn't
into the
open.
ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I
But
let
I
it
also
burn to a
don't
crisp.
remember this.
I have to say this, though. This version of events has been rather
Press the buttons
amusing.
and
Watching you try to make sense of everything
Oh,
and
I
take
can't. I
back the
already tried.
control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness,
Oh, let me
only
press the right
34
button.
seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock. Why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the
Oh, well.
matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These
That
number
one went boop.
buttons, no,
These went beep.
these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button. Or this door.
Now try the door.
Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that,
Well, it was just
Stanley?
open, and as
That
I
this
walked
video
by, I
game
heard it
can be
close.
beaten? One
The door is
sold?
wired up to something over
Do you
there.
have any idea what your purpose in this place is? But you really
It's
believe
wired
there's an
up
answer?
to this.
How many times will you replay this bit, looking desperately for a solution? 10? 100? 1,000?
And
I
this
look forward to finding out and to watching the bomb
is
go off
here.
each time you fail. Just you and me and the retching explosion of fire and metal over and over and over for all of eternity. And Stanley
Emergency button
died
hit.
again.
It says 4 now.
And Stanley
It did
died
say 3.
again. And Stanley died again.
Did I?
Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing.
Are
No
you
ending.
gonna boom it
Just you being
before?
blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice.
Goodbye.
Make it count, or don't. It's
I'll
all
make
the same.
sparks.
All a part of the
Fireworks
joke.
for the ending.
And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say happily ever after.
Bye bye.
Alright. So I looked it up in another place. It says to go through the door very slowly and then back out.
Should I crouch?
No.
Oh. This
Um,
this is new.
what? The
There's
fuck?
bucket.
Yep.
Should I take bucket?
Not yet. We can do bucket endings later.
Oh, we're straight to the 2 doors.
I don't
When
know.
Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Okay.
Help.
Let's go back to the manager's office. Let's try it again.
Okay.
We just need to go through in such a way that the door doesn't close.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Now back out. Hang on a second, I'll look it up. Take a few steps into the room and then immediately turn around and run out. Try going just a little bit further in. Okay.
It does that, but
I'll watch a quick video on it. Alright.
Here's the door.
ah,
Oh. Did you get it?
yeah.
Okay, all the way back to your office.
We're going back this way.
If it's gonna work now, the map's all fucked up.
Oh! New content again.
No, we don't want new content. No.
It was closed.
Yes.
Oh. That's not my office.
Mhm.
I go. I am now leaving. What? Bye? Escape pod bay 4768.
Perfect. Now we're on the
Oh,
road.
there's a door. Oh. You know, we never did find Chris.
I did find a list of office variations.
Why can't we take the elevator?
Because we're going to the escape pod bay.
Yeah, but it goes up. See, here it is again. $7.57. $7.58. 2 more floors. $7.59. Escape pod bay. Escape pod launch bay.
Escape!
Yay.
Very dark.
Yes, but there is some change here, and I am walking. Oh. Uh-oh. That looks like the red room. Oh, it's not okay. It looked like it was the red room from Twin Peaks. Did we escape? Did we do it?
Of course not.
Oh.
We have reset. Alright. Let me see what else we can do. But do you want... You know how you kept turning off those computers?
Uh-huh.
Would you like to get that ending?
Uh-huh.
You go to desk 419, please.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Just turn this one off?
Mhm.
Can't.
There you go. Now go to 423.
Yeah, this one.
Start a new game, then immediately restart.
Oh, it didn't immediately restart. So start
Okay,
a new
well,
game?
let's do that then. Start a new game, and then immediately restart it. Now, go to 419.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Oh,
Now that one's off.
and it's this one.
Okay, maybe we have to
Oh.
restart each one.
Oh, when
Yeah,
it was
they're
on.
stacked.
Yeah.
Restart again. This time, boss's assistant's desk.
Oh, all the way up to the boss's office?
All of his co-workers were gone.
The
What could it
assistant
mean?
inside, the secretary.
Stanley
Yeah.
decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
You have the blue room again. The blue hallway.
Yes.
When Stanley came to a
The
set
wall
of two
office,
open
they call it.
doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's
I opened the
office.
broom
Coming to a
closet first
staircase,
sometimes.
Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Should be that computer there. Yep. Restart. 434.
Is it? Oh, there it is.
That phone doesn't usually ring.
It doesn't.
Okay. Can you answer the phone?
Good morning. Thank you for contacting the Future Happiness Foundation. We are confirming your shipment of 1,327 cardboard boxes to your place of work.
Yay!
Can you verify
Okay.
that this is correct? Excellent. Your order will arrive shortly. Thank you again for contacting the Future Happiness Foundation.
You're welcome.
Sure. Okay, restart. Now the one is Stanley's computer.
Oh.
You've died.
Oh no. Welcome, Stanley, to heaven! Heaven has buttons. Heaven has a lot of buttons.
He likes pushing buttons. You'll have to walk up to that, don't you?
Beep, boop, beep.
Are you satisfied?
Buttons. They all gotta be turned off in this row.
Like bubble wrap.
Uh-huh. It doesn't have quite the satisfying pop as bubble wrap. Oh, they turn back on.
They do. This is forever. There is nothing else.
Oh, okay. I pushed the
Alright.
buttons.
I did the escape pod, we did that.
Oh!
Yes, we're in the blue office now. This is actually good, hang on. Let me get my bearings. Blue office, blue office. Need to get the whiteboard ending.
Oh. If I do that again, then I die again?
Yeah. Randomly when the game starts, the office is bluish instead. Go to room 426 and open the door.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Welcome to the whiteboard
Stanley
ending.
decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Dog mode.
Yep. Excellent. Randomly when the game starts, the whiteboard saying, "Welcome to the whiteboard ending." Decoration around it is red. There's a code in the bottom right corner reading console bar. Well, it's a stop one, this one. There's nothing more, and Stanley can instead turn around and go nearly any other ending. Okay. So we've got that ending. Very good.
There's Bucky.
Pretty sure the
again.
narrator is now a dog.
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
I'm just gonna read up real quick on what that did. Anything. back on.
I did, and it did a little bark.
Okay. I think now if you use the E button, it'll bark. Yep. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. What else can we do? Let's see. Is it any way out of this room?
No, unless I go back to my office. Let me pick up bucket.
Stanley lifted the bucket into his arms, and a wave of comfort rushed over him.
Very true.
Oh,
Oh. Okay. Well, now that we have the bucket, we'll have to do a bucket ending.
okay.
I don't know which bucket endings there are.
I really want to go to the right.
Yeah, that's one of the ones I was going to take you to, but we haven't actually
Stanley
done
clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Let me look. Stanley Reassurance Bucket. Ah! Okay, let's go back to the mind control facility.
My bucket.
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever.
Yep.
Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Do you want to do the museum or do you want to do the
Stepping
mind control
into his
facility?
manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover
the
not an indication of
museum.
any human life.
Okay.
Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket.
Yep.
Even now, but Stanley guessed the
I
correct
wanted him
code
to
by sheer
finish
luck.
his sentence.
Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him?
It is
Yes,
the bucket.
this is certainly the most logical explanation.
So you will take the escape option.
Escape!
Strange that neither Devo nor Dragon have shown up.
I know.
The elevator raced downward,
Dragon
plummeting
was in chat
towards an
earlier.
unknown fate.
And on Discord.
It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in
Well,
this
that 'cause
darkest
Dava
moment
wanted
of
us to play it
uncertainty,
this week,
he
too.
would be all right.
Hope she's okay.
The bucket is here for you, Stanley.
It is Valentine's
Everything
Day.
will be fine.
Very true.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead
No, we
through the
didn't.
large door that read, Mind Control. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley and the bucket would both meet a violent death.
No, I already met a
my
violent death in the other room. You blowed
The
me
door
up.
behind them was
Twice.
not shut. Stanley and the bucket still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
No.
At this
I like
point,
that the stickers
Stanley
are
and the bucket
consistent.
were knowingly
Yeah.
walking forward into a very painful death for each of them.
This is my bucket. Are you ready, bucket? Here we go. Ah! More ah! Oh. It's okay, bucket. We'll be okay.
Put buckets in the title of the stream, I don't know if you noticed that.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley and the bucket inched
No,
closer
I
to
can
their
only see this
demise,
as yet another
Stanley
stream
reflected
about
on
a
how
man named
meaningless
Stanley.
the bucket's
And then it
warmth
cuts
and
off.
comfort had turned out
There
to
are
be.
buckets on either side.
To be sure, it puts
Oh,
the
there are.
mind and the soul
I
at
see the
ease
first
to
one.
embrace the bucket. But what use is a sense of ease when you're about to be crushed to death? This is what
Okay,
Stanley
bucket.
thought to himself,
It's
and he sort
okay.
of kicked himself for wasting so much time carrying a bucket everywhere. Farewell, Stanley.
See?
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley and the bucket were led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, the bucket's life
won
came
now,
to an
bucket.
end as it was crushed violently to death.
I love that they had to pay people to talk about the bucket.
Mm-hmm.
It was a shame, the death of such a magnificent
It was.
bucket. It's true that all buckets are radiant in their own way, but this one stood above the rest. It was a glorious bucket to behold.
The bucket welcomes you to the grand exhibit. You are now
Okay,
standing.
but where is Bucket?
It died. You are now standing at the precipice of knowledge. Much like a bucket itself, the human mind is frequently empty within, in a cavernous void. But through use of the exhibit in front of you, the mind becomes full and enriched and substantiated. Knowledge of the bucket and its history is the only true knowledge we really have. Will you take what you learn here with you into the world? Will you accept with an open mind what may be challenging about the information in this exhibit? Will you change the lives of yourself and your loved ones as a result of this exhibit? Or will you turn a blind eye and continue to live as you were, in ignorance and darkness? I just want my bucket. So many
Can you
buckets.
see how arrogant it was for Stanley to take a bucket like this and to claim it for his own?
Bucket.
Can you
But it
see the
had that-
hubris that blinded him?
Oh,
Can you see
handles.
that the bucket is far more noble than Stanley will ever be in his short life?
But it had property of Stanley on it. The narrator put it on there for me.
Different Bucket.
A bucket with two handles. This bucket is depicted as having two handles. Such a design has never been created in real life, having been deemed too dangerous and recklessly experimental. Every year, dozens are put to death just for attempting it.
That's
Inferno bucket. A replica of the Inferno bucket, which in the medieval era was so powerfully alluring that it drove dozens of nations to war with one another for control of it. Billions died, and yet, in spite of it all, the simple fact remains no one can control the bucket. I like that it echoes.
well, you're in a very cavernous museum. Ah,
Cave
first
drawing.
bucket.
While we know that buckets predate the existence of mankind, we do not know by how long. This cave drawing depicts early man's discovery of the practical uses of the bucket, by which time the bucket had already likely been around for several millennia. Notice in these drawings how the bucket is allowing itself to be used, having judged humanity to be worthy of its treasures.
We are worthy.
We are worthy.
Also the deer up there.
Uh-huh. Yep. Can you hear the music?
I hear the chanting.
I want to go across first. The stress bucket, an analogy. Oh. Presented without commentary. Stress equals the level of water in the bucket. So you put all your negative stuff in there, and if you drain it, then it makes you feel better. Okay, now we
To be
go.
able to draw in that style. Like, stereotypical diagram.
No man can own a bucket, and certainly not a bucket as dazzling to behold as this one. It is man who should kneel before the bucket.
The bucket did not belong to us. We belong to the bucket.
We do. But why is it blue in there? Huh?
I don't know.
The hanging bucket. This piece symbolizes a necessary relationship between bucket and humanity. However clear our grasp of the bucket may be, there is yet more that is always out of reach. This distance, inevitably, is for our own good. Bucket! I took a leap of faith.
But there is something we can do. Something we can do together,
Is
you
there?
and I, that will right this terrible wrong. Let Stanley die. Let him be crushed by the machine.
So I can enjoy
Don't
my
reset
precious
the
bucket.
game. Don't give him another opportunity to run off with
Bucket!
another beautiful
Let it crush
bucket.
you.
We can save the world's buckets from their treatment as tools and
Close
implements
your eyes,
if only
bucket.
we let Stanley die together. The bucket shall take its place as ruler, as leader, as commander of a new world, a new vision.
Ow.
Okay. Now then. With all those endings, let's see what else you've got. Alright, back to normal. I'd like you to take the door on the right this time.
Okay. Alright, I was taking a drink of water.
A soft wind blew outside and perhaps rain started.
Oh.
And if it did, it stopped shortly after. Stanley hoped that he would one day see weather.
Yes.
Never seen weather before.
Oh. That's new.
Yes, it glitches out if you don't get an ending. Door on the right.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well.
But the
Perhaps he wanted to stop by
lounge.
the employee lounge first,
Yeah.
just to admire it.
I mean, look at it.
Yes,
Can I have a
truly
drink
a
yet?
room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour
And
after all,
the
just to
door
spend a few
on the
moments
left.
here in this but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Okay.
And down
And
the
so he
elevator.
detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on
I
track.
No.
don't know this ending. This will be new for
But
both.
Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here it's, left. Oh, no, it's to the right, my mistake.
Are you gonna close this door too?
No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking?
I don't know.
It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please?
Okay.
Now, let's see. We went down right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
Oh. They get cars in the weirdest places.
They do.
Oh. Oh, I remember seeing this. I wanted to go up here.
No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes.
I've already seen it.
Okay. We just have to get back to, oh, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning.
Okay,
And this
if we
time,
have to.
suppose we don't wander so far off track, hmm?
No, I
Okay,
can't guarantee.
From the top.
Uh-oh, that one was messed up. I do, however, need to go potty.
Oh no, we're in the middle of an ending.
Oh, we are?
Just go to the bathroom, it'll be fine. You
Okay.
can resume.
Hello?
I'm here.
Okay. My headset had done weird, so I just wanted to make sure.
Yes.
Let me get my feet up. Because it's cold on the ground.
Just
And-
seen apparently there's a variation of the beginning where you see another Stanley walk past.
Oh,
Haunting.
you shall now resume.
Right. Not entirely sure if we have to just do the same thing again.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
So just go through the right and then the left.
We'll end up restarting several times. We also have the Stanley card.
Oh, there's more
Oh.
doors.
When Stanley... Wait, what? No, I restarted. I swear I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Oh, did something change?
It changed.
Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors?
No.
Did you move the story somewhere or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the
Right.
story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know
Mhm.
for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley.
Oh,
Let's find the story.
which one do I want to go through?
I don't know.
This one has a picture on the wall. I can't go through this one because there's chairs in the way.
Try and crouch jump.
I can't jump.
You can't jump. Okay. Oh well.
I want to want to go through the one that has the picture.
Sure.
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
Okay. Oh.
Okay.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Help.
Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
Somebody spilled coffee. Username. Go away.
Aha! I knew we'd missed something.
It's a blue
The
room again.
story. Here it comes.
It's dark. It's not supposed to be dark, Mr. Narrator.
No, wait. Never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps.
He's so confused.
Oh.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Now this... Well, I'll be honest. I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story?
No,
I don't
this
think
is
so.
a lot of plywood.
I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win!
Yay!
Awesome.
Congratulations!
We won!
I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off. So, good job.
You did it.
Yay.
Oh, no.
Oh.
No, I don't feel
Course
right
you
about this
don't.
at all.
You can't
we
let
both
me
know
win.
you didn't put in any actual work
I
for
did.
that win.
I walked so
Some
far.
people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay, I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time. I have to restart.
Oh.
Goddamn. Oh.
Oh, we have...
All right, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line. Just follow the line. How simple is that?
Oh.
Yep, that's new.
Okay.
You see? The line knows where the story is.
That's
It's
it.
over in this direction. Onward,
haven't been
Stanley,
this
to
way.
destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there?
Uh-huh.
Or to put it another way, is the
destination
story
is
of
the
no
journey.
destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying
Oh,
a
they got a
journey
little crooked on
such
the
that a
stairs there.
destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Okay, Stanley, I need to follow this train of thought for a minute. Just stick with me. Now, we can both agree that the nature of existence is in fact a byproduct of one's subjective experience of that existence, right? Okay. Now, if my experience of
Question
your
mark, a
existence
question mark.
rests inside of your subjective experience of this office, is this office in fact the skeleton of my own relative experiential mental subjective construct? Whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all
It's
that.
weird in here, too.
You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the
Do
mood.
we?
Yes. Adventure music. Can't turn you over the music. A little bit.
We'll go this way.
Wait, cut the music. Go back and look at that fern. Stanley, this fern will be very important
impressive
later in the
fern.
story. Make sure you study it closely and remember it carefully.
I remember
You
the
won't
fern.
want to miss anything.
I'm taking a screenshot of the fern in case we need to reference the fern.
Okay.
I put it in MM.
Okay.
Wait, what? We're back at the office? No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell?
I don't think. Oh, we're back here again.
Oh, no, not again. Line, how could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart.
Oh,
Okay. I'm
Well, there's-
following the line again.
apparently. But hang on, I gotta have.
Okay.
I gotta have a sour belt. I need some sugar.
You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent
Well,
people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
Oh,
Okay.
Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be? Go wild.
You're going around in
Use your
circles.
imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it.
with the burning building storyline. Let's do that one.
Oh, no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No
Okay.
lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine.
It went up in the ceiling.
Sure did.
It became an alien. Oh, round room.
Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision.
Oh.
From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute.
Okay.
Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere at the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits.
Okay. The confusion.
Hold up, what's this? The
I don't-
confusion ending.
I don't
You're
think I've been
telling me
playing for 17
That's what this
hours.
is? It's all one giant
That's
ending?
13 minutes.
And we're supposed to restart the game
Understanding.
eight times? That's really how all this goes? It's all determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really? No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to
You
forget
got
what's
to.
going on.
It'll be
I don't want to
okay.
be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it.
You
I
don't
won't
have a
do it.
choice. You're the narrator. You have to do what it
And
says.
the timer stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay.
jokes.
I guess now we just wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story, wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime, if you...
Uh-oh.
Okay. Now let's do it again with the bucket.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply... The confusion and the chaos all seemed to melt away as Stanley embraced the bucket.
Go back to the right.
Yep.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest, and this was not the correct way to the meeting room. But Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself.
It is.
Yes, perhaps it truly was. No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the
Back
door
through
on
here?
his left to go back to the meeting room.
And then back down the elevator.
And so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
Or not. I started feeling a little woozy and I realized that my sugar was probably very low.
Good, Stanley. I'm glad you found your way here. I knew you'd find this place eventually.
Is Chris in there?
You see, your friends and I are concerned for you, Stanley. We've come together here because we care about you very much. It's this bucket you're carrying around everywhere. The bucket isn't even from the original Stanley Parable. It's just sequel content. We're the ones that matter, Stanley. Classic characters from the first game, like the Adventure Line and the Broom Closet. Because that's what fans want from a sequel. They want more of their favorite jokes, not this bucket that they've never seen before. Yes, I know I'm the one who gave you the bucket, but you're spending too much time with it.
But it's
Don't you
my
want another
comfort
story
bucket.
involving the Adventure Line? We could make the Adventure
show
Line go
you
somewhere
better
new.
now.
Yes, yes, that's what the fans want. Let's do it. Whee! Look at that wacky line.
Raw
Who
assets
knows where
back
it'll go off to next? Oh, and it played some silly music as well.
No! Stop the music.
Now this is what the Stanley Parable is all about.
Is it?
Don't you remember all those great jokes from the original dialogue? Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
What?
It's as classic now as it was back then. Let's do it for the fans, Stanley. Let's give them more content exactly like this. But if we want to do that, you're going to have to give something up.
I don't want to give up
Private
anything.
bucket from my cold dead hands.
Exactly.
Don't you get it, Stanley? We need to get rid of the bucket.
No.
That's
No.
why I'm very proud to
My
introduce
bucket.
a brand new character. This is the Bucket Destroyer.
No!
I think it'll make a wonderful new addition to the rich lore of the Stanley Parable. True, it also was not in the original game, but it's
No.
such a well-fleshed-out
I don't
character
wanna
with
give
so
up
much
my bucket.
personality that to me it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along. Don't you agree? Can you guess what the Bucket Destroyer does? Surely you don't need me to spell it out for you.
Spits out puppies.
Go ahead now, Stanley. Say goodbye to the bucket, and then pop it into the machine when you're ready.
I don't wanna.
Don't do it.
Now listen to me. It's crucial that you give it the bucket. I don't know
No.
what the Bucket Destroyer will do if it can't destroy your bucket. Destroying buckets
It's my
is all it
bucket.
knows. That is its
It's a
singular
property of
personality
Stanley.
trait. Sure, I can hear you saying, how does a character with only one personality trait deserve to join the pantheon of beloved Stanley Parable characters? Well, you see, if you were to really explore the Bucket Destroyer, you would see that its desire to crush buckets is so densely loaded with complexity and nuance that it's really like 10 personality traits. What other object in this game can you even say that about? The Broom Closet? Certainly not. I wonder what sort of Bucket Destroyer merchandise the fans will be clamoring for after this. Okay, the bucket destroyer is getting very upset now. You'll have to hurry and feed
I
it.
don't
We
care
can't
if
get
it's
back to the
upset.
classic
This is
Stanley
my bucket.
bearable
You can't
gadgets
have it.
like the Adventure Line or the bucket destroyer until you crush that damn bucket. Quickly now.
No.
The fans are waiting. Do it, the fans, Stanley. Give the fans what they want. Hurry and...
My bucket. Uh-huh.
The bucket destroyer. My prized creation. You
Halo
had so
music.
much potential.
Kinda,
We were
yeah.
going to do such marvelous things with you, tell such spellbinding stories about you. All of it squandered now. Goodbye, new friend. For the moment in time that you were here, you were magnificent.
Rest in peace, Bucket Destroyer.
No. Go to hell, bucket destroyer. I wanted to destroy my bucket.
So I found a list of the new endings in the Ultra Deluxe version. These are the ones I have not seen before.
Okay.
Let's do a weird one.
Okay.
Can you go to the boss's office for me?
Okay.
How wonderful. Stanley was alone. Finally. This is great, he thought to himself. This is what I've wanted all along. I got what I wanted.
Realistically, if this
When
happened
Stanley
to you,
came to a set of two open doors,
you're in an
he
office,
entered the door on his
nobody's
left.
there.
It's a Saturday.
Yet there was
I
not
mean,
a
are you
single
wearing pants at
person
this
here
point?
either.
Is that...
Feeling a
like-
wave of disbelief,
Maybe.
Stanley decided to go up to his boss's
would
office.
fulfill the
Hoping he
fantasy
might
walking
find
around
an
the office
oncoming to a
my own.
staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his
Who has that
boss's office.
fantasy?
Oh, just me.
Okay.
I didn't say you did. Yeah, go ahead. You're good. Go down the elevator.
Here's the door, just go.
He's so sick of our shit. Alright, you're going to exit the elevator, step out, turn around and get back into the elevator. Go back.
Okay.
You'll need to do this a few times.
Whoops. Nope. Never mind. Stanley actually got back into the elevator and went back up. Silly me. Why did Stanley do that when he knew that it would just lead back to his boss's office? Well, that's a great question. I just can't wait to find out.
Oh, this is new. No, it's not.
Nope. Back in, back down. You'll have to do this a couple times. Go into the boss's office, then head back down.
Here we are, Stanley. It's your boss's office. Exactly the way it was before you got onto the elevator. It's still just exactly what it is. What a decision you've made to come up here and look at the office again. This has fleshed out the plot of the story in new and fascinating ways I could have never anticipated. It's that keen eye for storytelling that you have, an incisive rapid fire of critical plot points, one after the other, weaving a rich tapestry of uncompromising narrative. Wow! I'm bolted to the edge of my seat. Incredible. Now he's getting back into the elevator and going down again. Ladies and gentlemen, how does he keep coming up with all of this?
Who knows?
Out and back in.
Surely this time Stanley will walk forward into the spooky corridor, won't he?
Nope.
Did you think we were going to go forward down the spooky corridor? No.
No
It's
spooky
time once
corridor.
again to go back up in the elevator. I can't even begin to grapple with what might be up there. Is it the boss's office again? Or what if it's the boss's office
No,
this
it's the
time?
boss's office.
The suspense is killing me.
How do you not know that, narrator?
We never did find out what the purpose of that card was.
Not yet, no. Oh.
Oh my god. It's the boss's office.
Mm-hmm.
This absolutely changes everything for me. Give me a time out here for a minute while I process this.
Okay.
Okay, I'm ready. I'm prepared to embrace this stunning revelation and to move forward with... No! No, wait! No! I need more time to process.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
I have fully come to terms with it. I have made space in my worldview for this astonishing new reality. As before, I turn to your expert eye for gripping narrative, Master Stanley.
Okay.
You're never gonna believe
Of
what we're gonna
course.
do.
Going back
Are we gonna
down
go back up
the
again?
elevator.
Can
How
we go
did I
down?
not anticipate it?
Yay!
I mean, sure, now it's obvious, but you have to understand that 30 seconds ago, this kind of thing had never been attempted before. I had no frame of reference to even anticipate it. That's just how revelatory Stanley's decision-making is. A breath of fresh air in a
Revolutionary?
landscape of storytelling that has grown stale and repetitive.
I like that we broke it.
Oh, nope. Never mind.
You know what? I've just thought of something. Hold on, let's stop for a moment. Don't you realize? It's the anticipation, Stanley. You and I, we have no way of knowing what will be at the top of this elevator.
Don't we?
But the suspense, the agony of waiting and anticipating and having to guess, that's the real thrill. Oh, I simply
I
don't
think
want to
it
let
might be
that
the
feeling
boss's
go.
office.
It's so precious, so fleeting. Why don't we take this elevator ride nice and slow? There we go. Isn't this so much more exciting? You know, Stanley, it seems like nowadays the only thing that audiences want is to be shocked as loudly and frequently as possible. They want big, explosive moments flung right in their faces
bit.
from the very moment that things get started. But where's the tension? Where's the trust in the audience to build a slow and nuanced appreciation for the story, the characters? Why aren't we given time to imagine the surprises, to have to think and to anticipate, and then to marvel at the eventual reveal? This is storytelling, Stanley. What
Is
you
it?
and I are doing right now. This is the most exciting narrative to be developed in years, and it's really all because of you. You're the one who took this bold step of revisiting the exact same locations over and over. Truly, I mean it.
I mean,
this is
you've
unique
been in
and
my
different.
office
It's
many
not like
times.
anything else out there. You see, I want stories that surprise me, Stanley. I want to have to think. I want to be engaged and not pandered to. We're being fed such unimaginative drivel all the time, and we all know it, which is why we're so starved for content that makes us feel sharp and vital and alive. That's why people like you so much, Stanley. Because you're not afraid to spit in the face of tradition. You're a role model, you know?
I am?
People look up to you.
They do?
Which is why...
Maverick.
Oh, I didn't know when to spring this on you, but, well, I've gathered a little press conference for you. So
What?
that you can talk about your work and your storytelling and
No.
your life. Yes, I know you're not much for the public eye, but I thought it would especially mean a lot to the people who have been following you from the beginning.
There's
They
people
really
following me
look
from
up
the
to you,
beginning?
Stanley. I don't know if you realize the impact you have on them.
Why are
This is
people
the
watching
kind
me?
of gesture that might leave a tremendous impact on
Nobody's
them
watching
for the
this.
better. Oh,
We
good,
got
we're
some
here.
bots. Oh. Red carpet. Can I go back down? I'm
Main
scared.
event.
Okay, the room where we're holding the press
Oh.
conference should be just around the corner here somewhere.
World's healthiest human being. All tricks revealed. How we did it. The pyramids. Live, the guy who went to Mars.
It's that guy.
All eyes on Stanley. I'm scared. Help! Don't wanna. And the evening with world peace, baby. Aw, that baby's got a big head.
Ah,
Does.
yes, here it is, just through this door.
The man, the process, the myth, the legend, the parable. Stanley. From the Stanley Parable, tonight, live on stage. The world's first sentient machine. I don't think this is the way to the Q&A.
Conversation
All
with
right,
Alexander the
are you
Great.
ready? I've told them you're going to speak a little bit about the nature of surprise in
Office,
storytelling
chair, gum
and what it
table.
means to
What the?
craft a truly unpredictable narrative. Oh, don't worry, you'll do great. Just be yourself and speak from the heart. I'm really proud of you, Stanley.
Up again,
Okay, it
down
looks like
again.
they're ready for you. Go get 'em.
Alright.
Congratulations.
Miss, they're ready for you on stage.
Shush. Congratulations, Stanley. Remember where you came from. Your co-workers. Oh, it's very nice.
Utah, but looks like.
Maybe. I guess we gotta go up now. The dude who came up with pizza, that's a real national treasure right there.
Not all heroes wear capes.
No, some wear flower and hats. Is this the right way?
Go. Where'd you go? The Lord. What,
A
did
meet and
God on
greet.
stage?
Apparently. Ah! It's so bright. There's people! We found the people! Are these my co-workers? There's people! Oh, this isn't good.
Flashbang.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh.
Where do we want to go now? Let me think.
I don't know. Do I have time to go get some cheese? What do you think?
I mean, make it quick.
Yeah. I can make it quick. I'm just gonna stand right here and stare.
There's a few different ones we can do with the bucket. Tape recorder, we did the collectibles, we did the epilogue. We haven't done the epilogue. Are we on the epilogue? Once you've watched the collectibles ending, leave the game back to the main menu on this option. The epilogue. Certainly,
I
you
thought
would have done that already.
I thought we did the epilogue.
It seems that after you complete the collectibles ending and the game restarts you back to Stanley's office, you need to walk around and play as you normally would. Going back to this main menu at this time, if anyone's 100% sure, once you're done, please let me know in the comments. Okay, let's check the comments.
I have some pepper jack cheese now.
You have to complete the collectibles ending and go through all the interactions that happen when you start up a game. Just start up the game and go through the messages. Then quit and start again until you... What?
No comprende.
Rebooting the game and answering the question on the screen's text until you unlock it. You need to boot the game about 3 times. We would have to restart, like actually exit the game fully. Alright, so we'll do that later. Would you like to play Is This a Bucket?
Okay.
Pick up your bucket.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Warmth spread through Stanley's arms. With the bucket in his arms
get to the
again,
red
he
door,
was
the blue
home.
door. So that is, I believe, go downstairs from the boss's office area,
Okay.
I think. Or was
Stanley
the wait,
clutched the bucket tightly to his chest
Is that
and
where that
entered
was?
the
I
door
think
on his
so,
left.
maybe? I don't know.
Well, we'll go that way anyway. Fuck it.
Bucket with the bucket?
It might have been when you fall off the catwalk. I don't remember which one's which anymore.
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd... Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
No, we didn't.
But Stanley
No,
just
this is
couldn't
the,
do it.
the dream
He
one.
considered the possibility
No.
of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. He looked down at the bucket in his arms. Am I crazy? He asked the bucket.
Yes.
The bucket returned his gaze, but
We're
said
gonna
nothing at
stand
all.
right here.
That's strange, Stanley thought. Usually the bucket is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in difficult times such as these. He held the bucket close, yet felt none of its familiar
no.
reassurance and comfort. And that's when Stanley realized, this isn't my bucket. It's just a normal, everyday bucket. Someone
What?
else's bucket, perhaps. How did I end up with someone else's bucket? This is all terribly wrong.
no.
Surely no good would come from this. Who knows what sorts of bizarre hallucinations Stanley might experience without the psychologically grounding presence of his bucket. And indeed, now he noticed that the rooms were repeating, which was, of course, very odd. And now he felt himself floating off the ground. Oh, gracious, he
no.
exclaimed. Without my bucket, I've gone truly mad. Where is it? I must find it. Far off in the distance now, he heard it, calling to him.
Stanley! Stanley, it's me!
I'm trying
the
to get
bucket.
to you, bucket.
Could it truly be? He rushed forward
So
from
many
room to room,
buckets.
passing by one bucket after the next. None of them were his. None of them were his special bucket.
Come to me, Stanley! Find me!
He had to find the bucket. He had to return to his old friend. It was the only way to truly restore his sanity. And then suddenly, he froze dead in his tracks. He knew where the voice of the bucket had been coming from. The real bucket
Inside me all
was
along.
inside of him all along.
Manifest the
It was
bucket.
incredibly painful.
Oh, I must.
Stanley doubled over in agony and blacked out.
You got a bucket inside of you.
Yeah.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Uh-oh.
You gotta see a
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, picked up her bucket of comfort and security, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town, talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Right away, she knew what the problem was.
I had a bucket.
This
in me.
man had no bucket. Of course he'd gone mad, ranting and raving about a narrator describing all of his actions and how everything is predetermined and free will is an illusion and it's all just a video game. It could all have been prevented if only he'd taken his
I
bucket
tried.
with him.
Somebody stole my
Perhaps
bucket.
he didn't even realize he'd forgotten his bucket at home in the first place. How cruel the world can be, Mariella thought, and she hugged her own bucket even tighter.
I like the
But of
bucket
course,
reality.
she had no time for
I do
this.
too.
There were a myriad of confusing problems she would soon have to confront at work,
Symbiotic
for which her
relationship.
bucket would provide absolute guidance and total clarity on everything. Heck yes, she thought to herself. My life kicks ass. And she backflipped all the way to work.
I love it. Alright, take the bucket. We're going to the catwalk. We're gonna jump off. Not to our death, just on the death.
How wonderful.
Okay.
Stanley was alone. Finally. This is great. Stanley picked up the bucket and smiled. He'd never be alone again, not truly alone.
I mean, you can
not
jump
with
off
the
if you
bucket
want.
around. Stanley clutched the bucket
No,
tightly to
because
his...
then the bucket
This
will
was
die
not the
too.
correct
We
way to
can't
the
have
meeting
that.
room. But Stanley had felt the
But you'll be
bucket
together.
calling to him, telling
This
him
is
that the
true.
employee lounge was simply the place to
It'll be a short ending.
And here it
It would
was.
be.
Had the bucket turned out to be correct?
Give it a go.
Well, no, never mind.
Sure.
The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back
No,
to
I
the
didn't.
meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The car...
But Stanley feared that any path he walked might lead to the separation of himself and the bucket, his dearest friend. So he threw himself to his death, that they might die in one another's arms. How
So sweet.
deeply touching.
Very deep, very touching.
Mm-hmm.
Now the bucket
All
really
of his
is inside
co-workers were gone.
Yep.
What could it mean?
Jesse Lynn.
Stanley
Embedded in my
decided to go to the
spleen.
meeting room. Perhaps he had the good old bucket.
What
Just
is
Stanley
a
and the
spleen
bucket,
for?
off on another thrilling adventure
Spleen
together.
things.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his... This was
I don't
not
have
the
any
correct
warnings,
way to the
so
meeting room.
I don't really
But
know.
Stanley had felt the bucket
I don't
calling
think
to
anyone
him,
knows what
telling
the
him
spleen
that
really
the
does,
employee
but it
lounge
exists.
was simply the place to
I'll
be.
ask
And here it
Chat
was. Had the
GPT.
bucket turned out to be correct? Was no, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley
No,
took
the
the door
bucket
on
was
his
just
left to go back to the
ahead of
meeting
his
room.
time.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to
Don't
the
close
meeting
the
room. Go somewhere else. A cargo lift,
Isn't
yeah,
that
good,
what the liver
Said the
does?
bucket.
Now ride the lift
Yes.
all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to
So
do.
it's like a worse liver.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because
should have.
buckets
Maybe
can't
we should
talk.
listen to the
But
bucket.
Stanley chose not to think about this obvious
I don't
fact.
know what he said.
He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
Danger everywhere.
Alright, now hold up.
No, stop. Look there on the wall.
Oh,
you
no.
see, there's a sign right there. It says, no buckets past this point. Stanley, how could you think it was okay to bring the bucket here?
Because there's
Unless-
nobody here.
What if the problem is that you actually don't know what is a bucket and what isn't a bucket?
This
I
is my
suppose
best
that would
friend.
explain a lot about your behavior up to this point. Which, if that's true, well, my goodness, I think we have to do something about it. This misunderstanding could have dire consequences on the entire rest of the game if not addressed quickly and properly. So much of the impact of the story is dependent on your understanding of what is and isn't a bucket. Please,
All right.
step in here for a moment.
Okay.
Now then,
No,
I'm going to run you
it's an
through some
imitation
test
bucket.
scenarios, and you'll tell me whether or not the thing I'm showing you is a bucket. Simple enough, right? This should tell us everything we'll ever need to know about what is or is not a bucket.
Okay.
Okay, let's begin. Item 1. Is this a bucket?
I don't know.
There is no right or wrong answer, there's only one ending to this.
Correct. It is a hologram of a bucket, not an
Ah.
actual bucket. Item 2. Is this a bucket?
No.
Correct. It is a 3D printed recreation of a bucket, not an actual
Wouldn't
bucket.
that maybe still be a bucket though?
Not technically a bucket. It's a replica.
Item 3. Is this a bucket? Correct. This is a bucket.
It's so good at this game.
Look. Oh, that is
Item
definitely
4.
a bucket.
That's
Is this a
definitely
bucket? What? Are you hallucinating? This is a tractor. It's an
That's
enormous
clearly a
machine
bucket.
that tills
It's a-
the earth.
How
It's
is that
sort
not
of
a
gimmick.
bucket?
How on earth did you manage to screw it up? Absolutely incredible. Let's just move on to the next one.
Guy's never seen a bucket in his life.
He hasn't.
Is this a bucket?
Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's a bucket.
Correct. This is
See?
a bucket.
So then what the fuck was the other one?
Oh. Maybe it was a hologram.
Item 6.
Oh, okay.
Is this a bucket?
No.
Trick question. Both. Gotcha.
God damn, this guy's good.
Oh, he is.
Item... Wait, hold on. I can't find the next one. Let me see. Should be around here somewhere. Okay, you and I both know there isn't anything here. And I don't appreciate the implication
Everything
that
can be a
nothing is a
bucket.
bucket when we both clearly know that a bucket is something, and therefore nothing could possibly be something. Unless, in your twisted mind, have you somehow convinced yourself that a bucket is nothing? Answer me straight, Stanley. Do you believe that nothing is a bucket? You know what? I'm too confused to even sort it out. I've lost all sense of perspective. What is a bucket? What isn't a bucket? Mere moments ago I could answer these questions with confidence. And yet now I'm somewhat adrift. Do any of us know what a bucket is? Am
Obviously,
I
you
a
don't.
bucket? Stanley, I can't keep doing this. I'm losing myself, and myself was all I ever had to begin with. I'm afraid the bucket is threatening to tear our relationship apart. I can't have that.
We
I'm
had a
sorry,
relationship.
but I'm going to erase all buckets from the game entirely.
No!
Okay, here we go.
My bucket. The monster.
What happened? Is everything gone? Why did everything disappear? Wait, was
I mean,
everything
I
a
told
bucket?
him that already, but he
Every
didn't
single
believe
thing
me.
in the game was a bucket. Oh my God, I had no idea.
I told
How could-
you.
Except me. I'm not a bucket after all. And
You are
you,
not.
Stanley, you're still here. You're not a bucket
No,
either.
I'm not a
Oh,
bucket.
this is wonderful news. We're not buckets.
I had a bucket.
Yes, I actually feel much more at ease right now. It's delightful to get some clarity on that issue, but it doesn't change the fact that we haven't got a game.
You erased it.
So, tell you what, I'll reset everything and we'll put back all of the buckets, okay?
Okay.
And we'll know that it's all a bucket. But if you run into anyone else, maybe don't mention that. Who
They'll be a
knows what
bucket.
that information might do to a person? All right, here we go.
Alright. We have a choice of things to do with the bucket now.
Okay.
The
do you
meeting
think?
room. Yes, that's where everyone would be. Stanley just needed to get to the meeting room, and from then
variety is
on,
the
he would
spice of
never be
life.
alone
Let me
ever
think what we
again.
can do.
I'm finishing my cheese. I definitely needed something to eat.
You want to try and get the escape pod ending with the bucket?
Uh-huh.
Where are we going today?
do
The
it.
bucket
No.
asked. Stanley just smiled.
Into the boss's
Anywhere
office
they
back
went
out.
together
Oh.
would be
Then all the way back to
perfectly
your office.
fine with him. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd... Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. Stepping in...
All the way back.
I like the sound of the bucket.
It's very pleasant.
It is.
Reassuring, one might say.
Very.
And up and up and up and up and up.
You are now leaving. Okay. 6 floors to go.
I like that the narrator is trapped in the boss's office.
Three more.
There's Dava.
You missed so much of the bucket. But we determined that everything except me and the narrator are buckets.
Except for that one tractor.
Yeah, that one tractor wasn't a bucket. We thought it was, but it wasn't.
It's time to save the bucket.
Yes. We're escaping.
not escaping.
It's the escape pod. Escape pod.
The bucket escapes. There's only room for one of us. And it's the bucket.
That's okay. Shh. Just go.
See, buddy.
We'll always be together in our hearts. Is Mom doing okay? I love you, Bucket. Be free.
It's always gonna be you, Bucket.
It could never be me. Bye.
Oh, what the fuck is the speech from Wrath of Khan?
I don't know.
You will always be my friend. Something like that. Alright, let's get the bucket again.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps
We
he
left
had
the
simply
bucket.
missed a
We
memo.
Sent it away, remember?
Well, that puts a bit of a problem in our doing the rest of the bucket things.
Maybe we shouldn't have sent it off first.
Go back to the main menu. That's not what I meant. Do the epilogue option? No. Interesting.
I'm pretty sure we already did the epilogue, though.
No, we did not. Do we
All
have
of
a
his
bucket?
co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley
Bucket!
decided to go
Yes.
to the meeting room. A good
Okay.
bucket. A strong bucket. A humble
humble
bucket.
bucket.
A committed bucket. A bucket of culture
He is
and
cultured
distinction.
and distinguished.
Okay. Let me look. Let me look and see. Hold on.
Yes, the bucket is back and we are happy.
Let us go and answer the telephone. So go across the warehouse area and up.
Okay.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room.
No, because I'm not
But
going
Stanley
to the
had
meeting room.
felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out
And
to
then
be
there it
correct?
was.
Well, no, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left
No.
to go back to the meeting room,
No,
said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. A cargo lift, yeah, good.
Said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Is there?
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because
Why?
buckets can't talk. But
My
Stanley
bucket is
chose not
special.
to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him.
Did you not
and
hear
he
it?
unthinkingly did whatever the bucket
I
asked.
definitely heard it.
I heard it. Been hearing it this whole time.
Okay.
In here.
Said the bucket.
Go into this dark room over here.
Stanley
Okay.
once again obeyed blindly.
Now pick up the phone.
Okay.
This is the sad story of a man named Stanley and his bucket. Once upon a time, I gave Stanley a bucket because I thought he was lonely and could use a friend. And then, very distressingly, he began to believe the
That's a
bucket could
nice
speak to him.
Pick up your bucket.
The Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket was merely meant to provide the comforting glow of companionship. It doesn't literally talk and give you orders.
It sure does.
Whatever Stanley
It
is
does.
hearing the bucket say to him is just in his head.
Go to work. But you need your bucket. No, it's on the desk.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, time to go back home.
Lately, I've been concerned about him. Wouldn't you be concerned as well? To see him delusional like this, obsessing over an inanimate metal object? I want to say something to him, but I don't know how I can convince him. I don't know if he'll listen to me.
Back to work.
Oh, I'll try anyway. Stanley, can you hear me? Listen to me. It's just a bucket. It can't think, it can't talk. All it will ever truly do for you is effectively transfer a liquid from one location to a different location. That's it. It doesn't do anything else.
Back home.
You see, he's not listening. He's still taking orders from the bucket. You know, once upon a time it was me he took orders from. Me he trusted and listened to. Now all he cares about is his awful bucket. This stupid hunk of metal. It's sad, but I suppose he doesn't need me anymore.
Oh, I have my bucket.
From now on, he's just going to cling to this bucket, this cold, empty bucket, this sort of shiny bucket.
Bucket has never hurt us.
Well, I'll
It
give it
has
this.
not.
The bucket does have a nice shine to it.
It does.
Yes, I suppose on closer inspection that it doesn't quite look like your average hardware store bucket. It's just a little more, what am I trying to say? Sturdier, more capable of transporting liquid. Like it would be better at moving an amount of water from one room to another. Oh my God, what am I saying? Better at carrying water from room to room. It's a bucket. It's literally just a bucket. Why do I feel some need to point out the ways in which it's so much more than just a regular bucket?
Because it is. Oh, there's a
Oh
candle.
no. I'm having feelings
Dinner.
for the bucket. No. What's going on? Why do I want to be with the bucket? Hear what the bucket has to say. Do anything it asks. What's wrong with me? I don't understand. Perhaps if I had the bucket, this would be less confusing. Yes, the bucket could tell me what to do in this troublesome
could.
situation. Stanley, give me
No!
the bucket. Give it to me.
My
Give me
bucket.
the bucket, Stanley. I need it.
No.
Give it to me now. Give it. or
No!
I'll-
You better not have taken my bucket. You didn't close your eyes, did you? Is this a bucket telling us to go back to work?
I think so.
Is it gonna be okay? Bucket!
Ah. The embrace of an old friend, a weathered companionship that
Now we're
stands
gonna
the
unplug the
test
phone.
of time.
Okay.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the
Deva,
bucket
can you
calling
believe that
to
we
him,
almost
telling him
lost the
that
bucket
the
to the
employee
narrator?
lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was.
Bucket
Had the
knows
bucket
best.
turned out to be correct? Was no, never mind. The bucket was wrong.
No, the bucket knows
Stanley
best.
took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
No.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift. Good.
Said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not
This
to think
bucket
about this
can.
obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
No, I'm not unthinkingly doing it. I'm willingly doing it. There's a difference.
In here.
Said the bucket.
Yes.
Go into this dark room over here.
Of course.
Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
No, willingly.
Now pick up the phone.
Whoa! Hold on. Why did you unplug the phone?
Because I didn't like the sound of the ringing.
Were you trying to resist the bucket's orders? Stanley, I was joking. Obviously, the bucket isn't talking to you and telling you to do things. Buckets can't talk. It was a joke. Don't you get the joke? It's funny, Stanley. A talking bucket. Can't you see? Oh, goodness. I must have really bungled up the delivery if you actually took me seriously. Where did I mess up the joke? Should I have paused for longer or spoken quicker?
Maybe.
Comedic timing is so difficult. I wish I were better at it. but there isn't exactly an instructional video on comedy that one can watch to fully... Oh, wait, yes, there is.
Yeah, there's... YouTube
it's sitting
exists.
right here. Let's take a look.
What is comedic timing?
Okay.
What is comedic timing? How does it work? How long should it last? How can it be used to effectively silence your political enemies?
Oh, okay.
And more importantly, can it be taught in its entirety within 90 seconds?
Maybe.
Thankfully, the answer to all of these questions is yes.
Oh?
Let's dive deeper. If you've ever told a joke or made someone laugh, in all likelihood, you did it while standing 50 to 80 centimeters from them in a room of no more than 76 degrees Fahrenheit, with one of your
Very
arms raised straight upward at a 15-degree angle from your body. These are the optimal conditions for good comedic timing. To begin the joke, start by stating and spelling your name. Next, provide a brief synopsis of the joke, including the specific times at which the recipient of the joke will laugh, and then spell out your name a second time. With these steps complete, it's time to begin the humor.
Okay.
Speak the entire joke in no more than 18 seconds and no less than 13 and a half, pausing only for bathroom breaks when necessary. When the joke has concluded, it is customary to inform your listener that the joke is over by declaring in your loudest possible voice, "I'm Dunny with the funny." Let's practice screaming, "I'm Dunny with the funny" now.
I'm Dunny with the funny! Did I do it right?
Good. This saying is a perfect example of expectations management, which is the cornerstone of good
He
comedy.
has jaundice.
Finally,
He does.
it's time to hand
Or
out surveys.
Simpsonitis.
Collecting hard data from your audience on how
Data.
rapt they were throughout the joke is the only way to grow or learn as a comedian. An effective survey should be no less than 10 pages long and should include the same question reprinted several times.
I agree.
Just to ensure the survey taker is actually paying attention and not simply filling in answers at random. And that's all there
That
is.
X didn't even
With
go in a
these
box.
strategies at your disposal, you'll have audiences doubled over in laughter and even tripled over in laughter in no time at all. Just remember to let them stop laughing at some point, you gut-busting little scamp. After all, we're each of us needed on the front lines of the war to fight the 12-legged invader who threaten our very existence and who very likely die in a hailstorm of
that's a
bullets
leg.
and mandibles.
Oh, my.
All of us must be
Scandalous.
prepared to give our lives to this noble cause, just as our children must do after us, and their children after them. Godspeed, and may Earth
are.
reign supreme.
Are we gonna get
That went off
copyright
the rails
struck?
at the end.
Hey, goodness, this video is a little outdated, isn't it? Well, no matter. I think the fundamentals of proper comedic timing are still as relevant today as they were back then. So with that in mind, I believe the only way forward is for us to return to the two doors and walk through all of this again, so I can try telling my story with more appropriate comedic delivery. Come along, let's head back.
Okay.
Alright. I didn't know that the lift went the opposite way. Oh wait, it does. We've done this before.
I can feel it. This time, I'm really going to nail the delivery. You'll be in stitches. A talking bucket, you'll say? How ridiculous. How absurd. What a hilarious concept. The king of comedy. That's what you'll call me. Thank goodness we had the instructional video. Otherwise, who knows where we'd be right now. Well, I wouldn't be the king of comedy, that's for sure. The bucket spoke to Stanley.
The bucket spoke.
The bucket spoke. Oh, I'll figure it out on the fly. No need to overthink things.
This is delightful.
Yeah. Okay.
Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of two open doors, they entered the door on the left.
No.
I don't think so.
What? We're back at the phone already? No. What's going on? There were supposed to be several rooms leading up to this. There was supposed to be a build-up to this point, a dramatic display of remarkable comedic wit which culminates in this scene with the phone. But now the timing's completely off. The joke will never land, or not the way it was meant to. And it's all my fault. I must have forgotten that the phone room comes immediately after the two doors room. What an egregious mistake.
Yep.
I've made a fool of myself.
Absolute
I don't
ass.
deserve the title of King of
No,
Comedy.
you
I'm
don't.
nothing. I'm not even the lowliest joke-telling whelp. I think I need to
No,
go back
God,
and
no,
rewatch
please.
that instructional video again.
I'm done with the
Surely
funny.
that
Not
will
again.
help me improve my. Here we go.
Okay.
You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of two open doors, they entered the door on the left.
Why would I do that?
What? We're back at the phone already.
Go the other way.
No.
Oh.
Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of two open doors, they entered the door on the left.
Fine, we'll go to the left.
No. You were supposed to go through the door on the right, leading back to the phone.
But you said the
Did you
left.
not even look at the instructional video? I think this is all covered very clearly. There's no way I can make the comedic timing work now. It's done. The joke is completely done and over. It's all your fault, Stanley. I'm going to be ridiculed in the community of other joke writers. I'm going to be shamed at every one of our meetings from now on. All because you couldn't watch a simple video and take a hint. Are you proud of yourself for bringing me down, Stanley? Are you proud?
Yes. A little bit.
Stanley, you love the bucket so much it's like you... it's as though all of your other most prized possessions pale in comparison. Yes. Well, let me try that again, Stanley. I heard that you are pale with shame over how unabashedly in love with a bucket you are.
No.
Is it
Get new
really?
material.
Pale with shame. Pale with shame? Pale... What's another word to describe a bucket? Stanley, this bucket is so metal, I think I saw it playing guitar. No.
Boo.
No. We're getting away from making fun of Stanley's obsession with the bucket, which was the whole
This
point
guy
of this.
can't carry the story.
I'm no good at these jokes.
Bucket can.
I need more instructional videos. That's exactly what it is. That's what will make me the king of comedy again. More instructional videos. Let's see.
Sorry, Leroy.
Sorry.
Alright. It's bucket.
A soft wind blew outside and perhaps rain started.
That was
And if
a
it
different
did, it
picture.
stopped shortly after. Stanley hoped that he would... The bucket made Stanley
Could've
want to
did
be
the
a better
elevator,
man and a better
one of the
co-worker.
bosses
In
opposite
time,
the down
perhaps,
window.
he would become
Okay.
both of those things. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
I was already way through the door on the left.
Still no one was
narrator.
here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's
Okay.
office
Almost
was
is.
where he'd find answers. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew
Yeah, you
all
haven't
along?
told me the code
Was the
a
bucket
bunch of
guiding
times.
him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Into the elevator.
Whee!
Into the elevator.
Whee!
Wait, Stanley said to the bucket. Can we go back up? When I was pressing those keypad buttons, there was something very intriguing about the number 3. I want to go back so I can try pressing the number 3 again.
I never
Bucket
pressed it.
said nothing.
Should we go press the number 3? Okay.
I think it's vital.
It must be. It was my own thought.
Here we are, said Stanley. Now I'm going to try out that number 3 button. He took the bucket over to the keypad and began absolutely... Well, he said, the number 3 is such a special button. I'm having the time of my life. Stanley looked expectantly at the bucket, but the bucket remained silent. This was a shock to Stanley, who had always felt such a connection with the bucket. How was this not as exciting to the bucket as it was to him? Once Stanley had had enough of the number 3, he got back in the elevator.
An unfinished 3.
Perhaps the bucket had missed something. Perhaps it had not seen how much joy Stanley got from slamming the number 3 repeatedly.
The bucket knew. That's why he was there with me.
A hint of regret nagged in the back of Stanley's mind. Should he demonstrate the number 3
I
for the
think we
bucket
should.
again?
Yes.
Absolutely. What do you
No,
think,
no,
Deva?
no, 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 said Stanley to the bucket. You can't go on yet. Not till you understand how much the number 3 means to me.
I mean,
You and I have
personally,
been
I
through
like the
so
number
much
5
together,
better.
and I just want you to see what I
5
see.
is my favorite
Feel
number.
the happiness I feel.
Try pressing
He smiled at the bucket, and the bucket
I
said
feel like I should
nothing.
press 3. Maybe we'll press
Feels
5.
like you don't.
We should press 5 at least one time.
Give it a shot.
Here we go, said Stanley. This time I'll really show you. He ran to the number 3 and began to wail on it like a musician on a beloved
was
instrument,
satisfying.
weaving a concerto of truth and passion. He wielded the number 3 like a fine artist would wield a paintbrush. He told stories through the number 3, stories of his dreams and hopes and fears. And the whole time, he looked to his bucket for a reaction of some kind. Anything
you
to
love
let him
3
know
as much as
that
I
the
do,
bucket
Bucket?
appreciated what he was doing. The bucket conveyed absolutely nothing at all, only silence.
What about 3 squared?
Crushed by a wave of dejection, Stanley returned to the elevator.
Didn't even like 3 squared.
Bucket is kind of harsh on my buzz right now.
Stanley and the
Right.
bucket were so close. They'd always been there for one another. Why suddenly could the bucket not connect with this passion of Stanley's? The question caused Stanley to ruminate the whole way down the elevator. He knew that there must be a way to get through to the bucket, to communicate fully with his
must
dear
become
friend.
one with the
Surely
bucket.
there was a solution, mustn't there be?
We need to go on a couples retreat. That'll do it.
We'll make a presentation and explain the importance of the number 3.
Do I go back up and do
Absolutely.
that? Okay. Yes. Come on. We'll go do the presentation, Bucket. It'll be good.
Said Stanley. I know what to do. I know how to fully express this feeling in my heart. He decided right then and there that he would hold a press conference where he would speak to the public on all matters relating to
Yes.
pressing the number 3 over and over. He would elaborate fully on what the number 3 meant to him and why he felt so alive when pressing it. Then the bucket would be able to see his joy through the eyes of others. It would get to see the world react to this discovery of Stanley's. And it would be through the public eye that the bucket would finally understand Stanley's work.
Come on, Bucket.
For months, he
We have a
advertised
press-
and marketed his press
conference to
conference,
go to.
building excitement around it, developing and rehearsing it, until it couldn't be refined a single measure further. When the big day arrived, Stanley was as prepared as he'd ever been for anything in his life. This was it. One last
Three again,
chance to
3
win the
again.
bucket over. One
it, Bucket.
opportunity to share a true
Come on.
connection with a loved one.
This is even better than the dude that invented pizza.
There was no one here. Nobody had come to the press conference to hear Stanley speak, to listen to him
Oh,
talk about what
why?
it really means to press the number 3
But
on a keypad over and over.
3.
He was unloved,
Look.
uninteresting. He was a failure. And in that moment, Stanley knew that the bucket would never again take him seriously. There would be no connection, no deeper understanding. The bucket merely sat there in his arms, indifferent. And so it began that slowly, over many years, the two of them grew more and more distant.
Don't love me anymore,
They spoke
bucket.
less and less, neither wishing to state the obvious, that any sense of real respect between them had eroded since that day at the press conference. There would be no more games, no more long conversations about passion and pursuit, only a silence that consumed the space between friends. And Stanley, having for once in his life discovered the warmth and comfort of true companionship, was cast back into the unremarkable normalcy of loneliness.
Oh.
Alright. You get the bucket.
Stanley knew the
gonna
office layout
reconcile?
like the back of his hand. It was only a matter of time before he
gonna
found the others.
reconcile?
Not everyone is so
Yes.
lucky to have a bucket.
We're gonna take
but
him back to the
Stan
office.
is a very lucky
Okay.
fellow. Very
No, back to the
lucky
office.
indeed.
Your office.
Oh. I thought we were gonna go press 3.
No.
Uh-oh.
Oh, your office door is closed. Okay, we'll do a different ending then. Let me see. That's a problem. Restart, get the bucket, and go back to your office.
All of his co-workers were
Close.
gone. What could
I
it mean?
noticed that.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
Not
It
sure
takes a
how
lot
else
of
to
humility
reconcile
to
that.
carry a bucket so magnificent.
Hmm.
Stanley
Yeah.
It's gonna close again, though. It always closes.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Stanley cradled the bucket in a gentle embrace, protective yet delicate,
well,
assertive
never mind.
yet
Um,
compassionate.
Let's try to go out the window with the bucket.
Okay.
Stanley clung the bucket to his cheek. Could his co-workers really all be gone? Yes, whispered the bucket into Stanley's ear. We've done it. We've escaped from that
did.
dull office and that pesky narrator. At last, out here in the white
I like
void,
that
we
you
are
can see a
alone.
shadow
Now,
on the
and for the
bucket as
first
they
time, I
turn.
can reveal to you my true self. The bucket began to tell Stanley of its life and its history, of the countless wars it witnessed, desecrating the land and lives of untold numbers of innocent
What?
humans, and the bucket's own complicity therein, of sadness and regret,
Mm.
and the many years it spent dwelling on the actions it might have taken to curb the madness and the decay, if only it had been stronger, of hope and redemption, and its crusade to uplift the stock of life for the common man, to manifest justice where none existed, and the bittersweet reality of time, to see one's dreams and wishes met halfway, meted out in parcels like charity, and abandoned as soon as the warm glow of inspiration begins to
It's very
dim.
poetic right
The
now.
opportunities to do so much more. There was so much it could have done, perhaps, the bucket wondered to itself. Perhaps if it had seen its own darkness with a clearer perception. This was way too much for Stanley.
What are you talking about?
He screamed.
You're a bucket!
To this, the bucket furrowed its brow.
The
No,
bucket has the
Said the
brow?
bucket.
Not since the evil wizard Gambharata first ensnared me in his machinations as payback for the
Gambharata.
sacred amulet I stole from his treasured vaults. I was young back then and could not conceive the ramifications of... No!
Stanley screamed even louder this time.
This is stupid! You are a bucket! This is so stupid! Why are we even doing this?
As Stanley screamed and screamed and screamed, the bucket revealed its true form, transforming into a mighty beast of untold power, its fangs glistening like...
Oh no. That was a battle.
My God, Stanley,
No.
you did it. You saved us from the bucket. Thank God you already had all 12 emblems of sages
Thank God.
and knew the incantations to summon their true power. Otherwise, we would have easily been overwhelmed by the bucket's power. I'm speechless. You've demonstrated such bravery here today.
Oh
Come,
my
let's
goodness.
restart the game, and we'll agree to never again go trifling with this bucket, nor
We
the
might go
dark
trifling with the
magic
bucket.
cast away inside of it.
We might. Okay, let's get the
Okay.
bucket.
No,
All of his co-workers were gone.
we're gonna do something and
What
then
could
bring
it
it
mean?
Okay.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting
Oh,
room.
and the left
Perhaps
turn.
he had simply missed a memo.
This is the left turn version of the office.
It always turns left.
Nope. Only sometimes. Okay, we're gonna go back to the mind control facility.
It was through the office the correct
When
way.
Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the
Yes,
door on his
into
left.
the manager's office and then down the elevator.
Yet there was not a single person here either.
Almost done everything.
Feeling a wave
We
of
only have about
disbelief,
half an hour.
Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Here's the door, just go.
What you're going to do, once you get to the mind control facility, is try and climb up on the things and yeet yourself into the pit.
Okay.
And then we'll do
Stanley
the
walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
I gotta climb up.
Yep.
Ow.
Aha! You've made it to the bottom of the mind control facility. Welcome! You see, back when the Stanley Parable first launched in 2013, getting to the bottom of the mind control facility was a bug that we simply didn't catch during development. And you all sent us lots of photos of it on Twitter and acted very superior about it. And you're all very, very clever. Good for you. Anyway, when it came time to update the game, we knew that we had to do something about this little goof of ours, so here you go. New content. You can call it the bottom of the mind control room ending, if that enhances your perception of the
Okay.
value of these updates. Isn't that what you crave? New content?
Yes.
Always
new
more
content.
more content, more. And I'm here to give it to you.
Thank you.
I'm here to make it seem like we really covered every nook and cranny of the game with secrets and Easter eggs. How about this?
Easter eggs.
We wrote a new piece of music
Oh.
just for this section. You won't hear it anywhere else in the game. It's a secret that's just for you. That's how special you are.
I feel
We
prized.
call this track Good Job You've Made It to the Bottom of the Mind Control Facility.
Little
Well
wordy.
done.
A little long. We'll workshop it.
Good job, you did it. Good job. 3, 2, 1. Good job, you made it to the bottom of the mind control facility. You jumped on the catwalk. You should have been careful. You should have been careful. It used to be a bug, but now it's an ending. Now it's an ending. I believe in you. I believe in your ability to cross this barrier and chase your dreams. Railings don't mean anything. Good job, you did it. Good job, you did it. Good job, you did it. Good
did it.
job, you did it. Good job, you did it. Good job, you did it. Good job, you
David,
did
we
it.
did it.
Good job, you did it. Good job, you did it. Good job, you did it.
I think we found our new ringtone. Now we do it again with the bucket.
Okay.
All of his
Well,
co-workers
do
were
that.
gone.
I
What
will
could
look
it
for
mean?
what other earnings we have.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Stanley's bucket. The only co-worker he would ever truly need.
Yep.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly
Okay, I
to his
gotta
chest
show you this
and
great
entered
new
the door on
song.
his left. Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and
Come on,
comfort
Chris,
now
come
more
listen to
than
the
ever.
song.
Perhaps his boss's office was coming to a staircase. Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life.
You missed a button.
Crushed by the weight of this revelation, but Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck.
Ah, I see.
Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the
You can only
bucket
get back into
guiding
the
him?
office with the bucket and the
Yes,
phone things.
this is certainly the most logical explanation. Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
You're gonna love this bucket. Whee! Oh, not we yet. Okay.
But just as
Ow.
Stanley was about to proceed further into the mind control facility, he tripped and fell over the railing and into the dark void below.
I put very
Thankfully,
clearly.
he fell directly onto the bucket, which safely
That seems
cushioned
like
his
it would
fall.
hurt.
Now, what to do next? Stanley wondered. Stanley and the bucket could find no way out of this enormous pit, and so eventually they decided that the best thing to do would be to simply get comfortable down here. So they set up a little couch and relaxed. It really wasn't so bad down here, a bit cold perhaps. After some time had gone by, they installed a few shelves as well,
Where did
and
we
a
get
sort of
them from?
kitchenette that was useful for when the
Where is
bucket
it?
was craving paninis.
For making the house a whole.
But it wasn't until the rugs
Right.
and the standing lamps came in that it really
Oh,
started to feel
whoops.
like a home. In fact, after some time, Stanley realized that it had been ages since he had even thought of the mind control facility at all. He'd never gotten to fully explore what was up there,
I think
never
so.
been able to unearth the many mysteries of the mind control facility.
Oh, there was that one door that we couldn't
This
really get
lack
back
of
into.
closure began to eat at him. Soon he was dwelling on his regrets, and the state of their home slowly decayed as Stanley became withdrawn and neglected the cleaning. It unsettled the bucket deeply. Stanley wasn't usually like this. The bucket tried to reach out to him again and again, but to no avail. All Stanley could think about, all he could talk about, was going back, doing it over again, staying on the path. It was a mistake to leave the path. It was a mistake. It was a mistake. I need to do what the narrator says. I need to see the true ending.
Didn't we see that?
This made no sense at all to the bucket, which was simply trying to live its life down here as comfortably as possible. Yet Stanley was unconsolable. This isn't an ending. This is just a hole in the ground. The bucket sighed. True, it wasn't an ending. But it's where we happen to be.
It
And
is.
maybe, possibly, if we accept the reality of things, maybe this will become an ending eventually. It's what the bucket was counting on. The two of them waited for a very long time.
How long?
Long enough for the game reset.
I have to go to the bathroom very badly, and it hit me very quickly.
There's 15 minutes
I
left.
cannot wait. I'm sorry. And the new song is called Void Walker.
Yes.
So where are we going now?
Great question. There's a few different things. See if the phone will ring for you.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to
No.
go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
You want me to restart?
No matter how hard
we
Stanley
have to
looked,
finish narrator.
he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
I'm sure it'll linger around the phone. Maybe it'll ring. No. Grab the bucket and we're gonna go into the vent.
I don't remember how to get into the vent.
You want to go towards the catwalk.
Is Stanley,
But we're gonna
without
go
the
down to where
bucket,
you found
really Stanley at all?
Stanley.
No.
Okay.
No, surely not.
Oh, yeah, that vent.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket
probably
calling
it.
to him. telling
don't
him
think there's
that
much
the
else,
employee lounge was simply the place to be.
Unless we get
And here it was.
specific
Had the bucket turned
conditions
out
for
to be
certain
correct?
things, but it's
No,
really
never
not the point
mind.
anymore.
The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No, you did not.
No,
Definitely did.
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
No.
Okay, this is day number 295.
Why
Take
is
number.
he Australian?
I don't even know. I've lost track. Nothing feels real anymore. The longer I study this bucket, the less sense anything makes.
Oh.
The sheer euphoria I feel every time I pick it up.
Nice, isn't it?
No matter how many times I've done it, it's always the same feeling. And the emptiness in my chest
Because you set your friend
when
down.
I set it down
You have to hold him
doesn't
close.
make sense. There's no explanation for it. I still haven't figured out why I see the world so differently when this bucket is in my arms. Why
know, David.
everything feels so... What do I do with this treasure?
Hang on to it.
I can monetize it. Yes.
Oh, maybe.
It's unthinkable the amounts of money people will pay for even just an hour with the bucket. This is my golden
I think
ticket.
he's going crazy.
But I have to be careful, because as soon as this gets out, there's going to be a target on my back. Even now, I don't know who might be trying to get...
Uh-oh.
What's that? Who's
They're
there?
coming to get you, run!
Gamborata.
Oh no. Not Gambarata again. Uh-oh. This doesn't, that didn't sound good. Phone's
Okay.
ringing,
Phone's ringing.
so I can go get the bucket and go back to my office.
I don't know if you need to answer the phone or not.
As Stanley lifted his bucket, he felt a connection to
Well, it
all
didn't
buckets
close.
everywhere.
Okay,
This adventure, he decided, was for all of them.
click the computer.
Huh?
Computer. Your computer.
And put it.
Yes.
Oh. Oh.
Welcome to hell.
Gambarata, where are you? I love my bucket. Worship the bucket. You cannot escape the love of the bucket. Wait. I mean, no, bucket!
Alright, there's other things we can do.
I thought it
We've already
was...
done the pale jokes. Do you want to try and go for the envelope? I know how to trigger it now.
Yeah.
You have to exit the game fully.
I thought this was gonna exit itself.
It was supposed to, it just says after some time. It's been quite some time.
Click to menu, and then...
You need to exit the game fully. So you've already had one time interaction. We need 4 total.
Uh-huh.
So we'll probably have to restart the game a few times. But then epilogue should just be there. We might run late, but that's fine.
Fill up by crows, crows, crows.
Doesn't matter.
Yes, sure. It's afternoon. No, I gave you the correct time twice before. You told me that I could put my favorite time in. It is very inaccurate. I'm glad that you like that. Yes, it's good to collect data sometimes. I do like sliders. I want a chicken slider right now. Shouldn't be too hard. Oh, new sliders. Okay.
So the gentleman that's doing that is actually not the narrator. It is the intern from the desk that doesn't have a computer who was fired.
Oh.
Yeah. That was confirmed in a dev blog, apparently.
Crows, crows, crows. I like ravens more than crows.
Racist.
Oh, all the way cat.
Acknowledge it.
Oh.
Come on.
Aw, now
Aw.
they're friends. Look at that.
These are good sliders.
They are. But I like 5.
Oh, IX. Yes.
That's 9.
Perfect. Oh, scrumptious, obviously.
Obviously.
Ocublinkle is just trying to say. Okay?
But I want to. Okay, I won't. Yes. No.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Many things. Help.
Help.
Yes, help.
Yeah, okay.
Yes. But probably not.
One more time. One more again. Then we could finally put a bow on this.
What time is it? It's go time. No. No one truly knows. Of course they don't. Nobody knows anything. I don't know you. I haven't told you my name. You haven't told me your name. Yeah, yeah, this is true. They are adjusted to the settings that I wanted, kind of. Oh, is he getting fired? Well, we could have a conversation.
Take me out to coffee.
The time is now. The time is nigh. This is true. There are some unsettable settings. It doesn't.
Sure.
It says random times within like a 20-minute window. Oh, I'll miss you. No, they weren't. No, I want my bucket. Oh. Bye. But
I don't know how long the epilogue is, but we're going to do it.
I will try to find you. Okay.
Epilogue?
Epilogue.
Epilogue!
Okay.
Epiluge.
I feel sad that we may never see him again.
It's time for the epilogue. How appropriate that it comes after our stream.
Yeah, it is after the stream. Desert.
Still in that desert.
I like the look of those clouds over there.
Sure.
How nice to. Oh. Hey, we have fire. Oh, pretty
Follow the
good.
moon.
Bye, fire. Oh, sandstorm.
I'm happy with it.
And me blown to the side. Gotta follow the moon. Pretty stars.
Which direction does the moon sit?
I don't know.
I have to look this up now. The west.
Oh,
Go figure.
oh. But
It's
it,
a mirage.
but there's a generator.
That is the memory house.
It is. Oh, the music is getting all disjointed.
Discordant.
Yeah. This is a long chord.
Oh.
Oh.
What's this?
Cookie Nine's blog. Review The Stanley Parable 2. Like so many, I enjoyed my time with the original Stanley Parable, which underscores how truly disappointed I am with its sequel. Where the first game teamed with originality, the Stanley Parable 2 is dull, uninspired, and often insulting to its fan base. Rather than expand on what made the first game enjoyable, the sequel veers off into territory nobody asked for. An infinitely deep hole? Who cares? What are the new endings? What about enjoyable bits from the Stanley Parable 1, like the adventure line? Instead, we get an uninspired side quest collecting figurines. I like the Stanley Reigns. Even this diversion feels incomplete. Collecting all the figurines gives you nothing. It gave me a sense of accomplishment.
Oh, newspaper.
Yep. Cat dog
Cat
born.
dog born. I guess they were extremely friendly to each other.
Oh, this is true. We did make them very, very friendly.
Hmm.
Buttons.
Jim. 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 Jim.
Stanley Parable developers. No more spin offs, no more sequels. When the Stanley Parable launched to a massive success in 2013, its creators made plans to build the property into an entire franchise. But a disastrous critical and commercial reception to the Stanley Parable 2 has prompted the developers to rethink their ambitions, as outlined in a press release they published today. It's clear that more Stanley Parable is just not what the fans want, reads the press release. We thought that we had a vision for the series that players would be excited about, yet it turns out this could not have been further from the truth. The press release goes on to promise to preserve the artistic integrity of the original game and to stop assaulting fans with our reckless and insulting creative visions. The word sorry appears more than 25 times in the press release. That's a lot of times. Are you on the
They did
green?
actually make more games. I am on the green, yes.
Okay.
Now, they made a VR game called Accounting and Accounting Plus.
Jim.
That's the other ones.
Jim. Jim.
No, you missed one.
No, there's only 3 that are lit.
You didn't press the top one.
I did. That's the first one I pressed.
Jim.
Okay.
Jim. 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 Jim.
That's the way in. Didn't press those ones.
I pressed those.
Not
but not
the
these.
outlet there.
Jim. Jim. Stanley. Jim. Stanley.
I said
It said
my
your name.
Stanley.
The button knows me.
Stanley.
You'll see.
Ooh,
Ooh, sparks.
pretty. The Stanley rings.
That's all.
Oh, let's start. Oh,
Back in the office. Turn the computer on. Oh.
oh. Hi.
Oh!
You're back.
Settings
It's-
guy.
It's nice to see you too. Oh, it is a little sad, but it will be okay. I did. I read that. Is it nonsense? The bucket is sacred. Screw the legacy. Let's keep making Stanley Parable. Okay. Maybe we don't run it into the ground or drag it through the mud.
Stanley Parable Games as Service.
You won't make any money if people hate it. He was very obsessed with that. Yes. Burn it to the ground? Oh.
Alright.
Okay. Let's go.
Okay.
I do like the number 3. Yeah, yeah.
Hmm. Dreams
Dreams.
of Tax Disc.
Journey to thank you.
Void the ice. Void the
Avoid
tax disc.
Avoid the tax disc.
Yes. Yes.
What about return to ice? Or danger of tax disc.
Danger
People like
facts,
danger.
yes. Okay,
Okay.
we've done it.
I love it too. It's perfect. Okay.
Makes sense to me.
This is great. That's good. Yeah, it's a lot of work. We don't need to do more work. Yes. That's what the people want. New title screens. Yes, we should. Yes. Yeah.
Oh.
No, he didn't give me the broken achievement. Do you know how? It is. I can have the achievement.
Fix the machine.
Yes, you must. I'm ready. There is. Yay.
Stanley Parable 3, The Danger of Text Disc.
Woo! Car.
So, that was it.
We did it, people. We made a new Stanley Parable.
I kind of want you to begin the game and then go back to the main menu and see if the number goes up.
Well, it says every time I start the game, so I'll have to.
I don't know if it's start the game or start the main menu.
Well, I have to quit to menu anyway.
Okay, restart the game.
It only takes like 2 seconds to restart it.
Exactly. Oh,
The end is never the whole.
okay.
Yeah.
I'm kind of interested in Infinite Laser myself.
Oh.
Oh. We have infinite Stanley Parables.
Yeah. We are now. Are we the narrator now? We're making the
sense.
game. Wow. On that note, see you next week. It'll be Tuesday and Wednesday again. Don't know what we're playing.
I'll have to figure out what game you're playing.
But we'll be doing ninjas. This is the Stanley Parable 4. But we'll be doing ninjas on Tuesday. Bye.